For us, it will be both a kind of a huge challenge and a mixed feeling, in that we think that it is long overdue that the ANC need not to be negotiating too much. We are the majority in Parliament. We should have used our majority to basically vote on this matter, and we think that that vote would have been secured in the best interest of those workers who are exploited and brutalized by labor brokers.
Mr. Mashaba?
We have 1 million of South Africans employed by these labor brokers, really giving them time to really get into full employment, and we're working on actually even reducing that number. When, as a country, we should really be focusing, I think where we should really be, Parliament to really be focusing, working with business to really grow the economy of this country.
It is a known fact that labor brokers don't create any jobs. Labor brokers are basic placing. They are placement agencies. They supply labor. And in fact, the people who really deserve to be paid, they don't get paid. If for instance, there is a particular percentage that is being paid, it goes to somebody who's sleeping somewhere, who doesn't work. A worker who does do the actual job in the point of production will get 7 rand, and the labor broker will get the rest of the money. And I think that's frightening. The spread of basically unscientific truth by Market Foundation and DA today of saying that labor brokers will cost us million jobs. In fact, what will happen, we'll have decent jobs in the country.
I'm not talking about labor brokers creating jobs. That's not really the argument. What we're saying is, do we have priorities in this country? We sit with our unemployment, which is one of the highest in the world. I mean, right now, the World Economic Forum on Competitive Report 2030 just released the report quite recent. In terms of labor legislation, as a developing country, we're faring very badly. Out of 144 countries, we number 144. So are we proud of that when we sit with our family members, our friends, and our children out there in our communities not really working? So what we're saying is, instead of, let's really work on the priorities. Let us as a country, business, labor, parliamentarians, let's really work on growing the economy of this country, instead of really coming out with legislation that is going to reduce the number of people who are employed. That is
but
not
is labor broking helping the situation?
No, that's what I'm trying to say. Parliament, instead of focusing on developing and growing the economy of this country, should not really be working on, in fact, reducing the number of people of that. Because what's going to happen naturally with this new legislation that they're coming out with, we're going to see people losing jobs. That's a fact. I mean, we will see 6 months, a year down the line, our people, the unemployment is going to really go up. Is that the priority of this country? The priority of this country, what we are saying is that let's work on growing the economy of this country.
But Market Foundation cannot try and attempt to tell us about what is our future. They have, for all these years, represented the interests of the dominant class that have championed policies that have actually led to serious deindustrialization in this country. They have actually been champions of opening up the market, liberalizing trade. All of those, they have led to serious deindustrialization where we have lost massive jobs. This question of the labor brokers, it's labor brokers that are basically exploiting workers who sweat from early morning. They are on the job, they are working, they don't get paid a living wage, and because they are not paid a living wage, they cannot actually participate in the economic growth because they can't go to town and buy. And they want to tell us what is the priority. Unfortunately, the debate we have here is about labor brokers. It's not about how do we create jobs. We have been pushing that debate about government championing manufacturing and industrialization. We don't have a Market Foundation and DA being part of that. There are people who must not attempt to tell us what must be the agenda of this country.
It's interesting what Mr. Jim is advocating, because you know all the policies that is actually asking government and the country to adopt. These are the policies which are unfortunately going to destroy the few that we've got in this country. So I believe as a country we would really advocate for the economy to really be open up, allow South Africans to really be able to work. If I want to contract with Mr. Jim, I'm happy for him to really pay me what he can afford, and I'm happy to accept it as a South African, as a human being. Then I don't really see the reason why they're advocating for us to be controlled. Everyone fought and defeated the same evil system of apartheid so that our people can be free. Now he's talking about coming out with legislation so that our people are controlled like they used to control them in the Soviet Union.
I think that's
the Soviet Union has dismally failed because they tried to control the lives of people, and that system will never fail. They'll never succeed anywhere in the world.
I think the greatest problem is exactly this, of people who are willing to rent themselves anywhere as long as they will be paid. Because you're employed by Market Foundation, you must come and go around and say those workers must be exploited. I mean, I think it's insult to the people.
Mr. Jim, the 7 million South Africans in our communities.
When did they appoint you to speak for them?
When did they appoint you to speak for them? Whether I speak for them or not, but what I'm saying, it's a fact that we're sitting with 7 million South Africans unemployed. 50% of them being youth, 65% of the youth being black. Don't you think they need a voice in this country?
The Freedom Charter said there must be a 40-hour week, there must be a minimum wage, we must ban contract work, contract labor, and tort system. This is what the ANC government should be doing next week.
Gentlemen, thanks to both of you. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, but thank you very much for contributing to this debate.
Thank you very much.